It was these factory workers who are just sort of fed up with it, like reclaim the factory and fuck the boss. So it's like class war gay porn. It's very Marxist. So I'm watching this Marxist porn, and I'm like, holy shit, like, there's people doing the thing that I imagined, you know? I've maybe had, like, a few experiences, you know, with other guys, but I don't really talk about it. I'm afraid to face it. I feel really guilty about it. And so I see this, and, like, you know, they're having a good time. Like, it obviously feels good, and it goes on, and it's obviously out in the open. And I'm hearing them say these words that before were only insults, like, yeah, cocksucker. Like, but it was actually like a cocksucker this time, right? Like, calling a dude a cocksucker meant he was sucking a cock. So, to me, that was like great. It was like these words that were insults became elevated into the position of something erotic and pleasurable. And there were a bunch of scenes on the tape. So that meant that there were a lot of guys doing this somewhere in the world, having sex sort of freely and openly with each other. So that was really important to me. You know, let me just put that aside and give you these communities. It taught me that you know, choosing desire where desire is forbidden is really important. It taught me that we have sexual shame and hang-ups no matter how sexually liberated we are or sexually sophisticated. It taught me that intimacy is created, it's not inherent. It taught me that sex is not immersive, usually, it's thoughtful, and that we need to have desire etiquette. Taught me a lot. The thing that all those have in common is uncomfortability. You know, it's like, porn is like, look, don't look. So you have to be uncomfortable to look at it. You have to be able to tolerate uncomfortability to look at it. You have to tolerate uncomfortability to sort of come out and be, you know, in sex work or just talk about your sex life with other people. You have to be sort of uncomfortable to notice your thoughts during sex instead of trying to bat them away and have an immersive experience. You have to be uncomfortable to sustain someone else's sexual interest without shaming them. There's a lot of uncomfortability there. Now, this is really in contrast to the sexual culture that we have right now, especially, but maybe even especially amongst progressive and sex-positive communities, where our sexuality and our ideas of sexuality are really based around boundaries. Now, boundaries are important. Boundaries are, you know, they really are important to respect in others, to maintain, whatever. But if we keep reinforcing our boundaries and putting our boundaries out there, our preferences, our boundaries, like, this makes me uncomfortable, so I'm not interested in it. If we keep doing that without investigating why those boundaries are there, then we're just using our boundaries as weapons. We're not really doing anything. They're not really serving us. We're using them as weapons against other people instead of actually having them be responsibly there. It's our responsibility to examine and investigate at the same time as we put up the boundary for others.